AITA for taking my kids to their dad's funeral. I'm going to jump right in because the funeral is this Friday. My ex-husband passed away last week in a car accident, very unexpectedly. The troopers came to my house. I'm his emergency contact to break the news. The first person I called was his father, and he flew out the next day with my ex's sister. Before he flew out, he asked me where we should have the service, in Texas where we live, or back in Maryland, where our families and friends all still live. I told him I felt like the service needed to be in Maryland because that was where everyone was, and P, my ex's father, agreed. He let me know the funeral home said they might be able to do a small viewing with just family, and I agreed to doing that as long as I felt like he was in a condition he'd be okay with. I met my ex's sister and his dad at the funeral home to go over paperwork and plan the viewing. He told me all the details for the funeral back home, and we talked a bit about where my ex worked, his day-to-day life, his home, and the probate process. His father was taking care of the probate process and seemed defensive about some of his belongings. I really felt like focusing on my children was more important than arguing over small things in the home. All of that could wait. So I backed off of helping with cleaning out his home and handed all of his insurance paperwork and other information I had that would be useful to them, like contacts at his work and his electric login. We had the viewing. Both of our children said goodbye to their dad, and it was very emotional. At the viewing, I mentioned that a friend had paid for our tickets to fly home, as I was quickly realizing how much everything was going to cost, and I suddenly was without the financial help of their dad. I was extremely thankful for their generosity. After the viewing, I didn't hear anything from his sister or dad. They didn't ask to see the kids or let me know what was going on with the process. I was actively trying to navigate the life insurance process while grieving my ex and helping my children with their feelings. The last few days have been a blur of crying and anger for all of us. We are so heartbroken to have lost him. My ex's sister and father flew out on Friday, and around noon, I got a call from his father telling me we were not welcome at the funeral. He said that my children and I would be a distraction to my ex's father's family's grieving. I'm shocked and hurt. I told him I had never heard anything so hateful, and the conversation was over. My ex's father and sister have never visited Texas. We've lived here for 4 years. They were not close and had no idea where he worked, or even any recent photos of him. We were divorced, but still good friends, and my ex was a devoted father. His children were his world. AITA for not listening to his father and still taking them. The funeral is open to anyone. I can't imagine us being there among hundreds of other people will really be a problem. Discuss in the comments section below, and I'll pin the most upvoted comment. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to hear more stories animated and read by AI.